have about 1.5 million businesses actually engaged in wholesale and retail trade. And they support 3 to 5 families. If distribution services are lifted up, then you'll have something in the order of about 7 million people, 7 million Kenyans who you're assisting. The reason why the distribution services sector hadn't grown before is because it was controlled. There were certain controls. In the 90s, the sector was liberalized. A lot of import restrictions were lifted. A lot more variety of goods started coming in. That liberalization actually really catalyzed change or growth, and spurred on the growth for a chain like Nakumatt. Now we are talking about the next phase of growth in the distribution services sector that will bring out the next wave.
Changing lifestyles is what we are known for, because we brought in lifestyle changes by having products from all over the world. Products which people would have thought were out of reach become affordable. We brought in products and made everything available here locally.
We have about 1 or 2 really big market players in terms of revenue. But in terms of size, the actual numbers of stores, you'd have many other smaller retail stores. They may not have a lot of money individually, but when you look at them as a group, I mean, that's a big market. We're talking about most of our rural population. We're talking about 14 million people just there. Then in our urban population, it's a big size. It's actually called Kadogo economy, the economy of the small.
They have a problem because of the size of their businesses. They are very small businesses. They do not have the space to store the product. They do not have the bargaining power. They do not enjoy any benefits like volume discounts from the big purchases. As a result, 90% of the country is still served by the traditional supply chain. A whole line of middlemen who at times reap supernormal profits.
Small duka owners, just by the nature of the business, the size of the business, they end up facing challenges. One of them would be access to finance.
Kwa wholesale sasa nikinunua mali iko juu sana. Unanunua mali kidogo kidogo. Unanunua kidogo kidogo, mali iko juu sana. Hiyo shida ya pesa nayo. Kama ninanunua mali kwa cash, hakuna credit.
So that means they cannot stock so many goods in their store. That also means that they are limited in terms of expansion.
A very large population of our country is still living on less than $1 per day. This means they are only able to buy daily rations of their essentials in small quantities. As a result, we have the duka owners being forced to break the bulk even further to units that cost 5 shillings, 10 shillings, 15 shillings. The further they break the bulk, the more expensive the product is. So we have the poorer people paying over 5 times more than the middle class person for the same products. Something must be done to turn that around.
Sometimes it makes us feel like we are not really people of the same country. It's like they're living in another country and we're living in our own country. They get to buy things at a cheaper price and they are the ones who are earning more. While we at the slum, we get to buy things at the highest price while we are earning peanuts. It's not fair. It makes us feel like the government has forgotten about people who live in the slum. When you go to Westlands, the prices are almost the same in all the big supermarkets. But the government has no time to come to the slum to make sure that all the prices are a bit standard. Maybe I can go to buy at the 200 bob kiosk, but he won't give me credit. Who is your friend? The 250 bob kiosk, he's expensive, but he'll give me credit. So I have no choice.
So if you don't have that much money, then you have to buy in smaller units. In the slums, you can even buy a matchstick. Even though this person is only doing his shopping of, say, 500 shillings. But you know, it's that 500 shillings, but you're talking about 1 million people. There are those supermarkets now who are targeting that group. They've realized that there's a big economy and are taking their stores to the customer himself. So they are situated within estates and even informal settlements, slums.
The low-income persons, that's our main target group. And the best thing that we have with us is our pricing strategy, because that market needs to be provided for with merchandise at better prices. We buy directly from the factories themselves. Yeah, so you have our trucks, our trailers that are moving in and out. We're the new kids of the block. We are winning on pricing our products right. We are winning on location. We're actually ready to employ more people. The biggest challenge you have is we want to go to the 24-hour economy. Nakumatt's 24-hour economy thing is it's perfect, but it's working because they're on the high market areas. In the normal Kenyan estates, the eastlands of the world, the smaller estates there, that's where we have issues with security. Security is what is the biggest thing to drive the 24-hour economy. It's not about anything else. We are ready.
Distribution services are the link between the producer and the consumer. The producers mainly being manufacturers and farmers. Kenya is largely an agricultural economy. So if you increase the efficiency in the distribution services chain, already you've improved the livelihoods or the lives of the producers here. And a rising tide lifts all ships.
In our area, we have potatoes, which grows very well, and we have buyers who come all the way from Nairobi. Our farmers, it's a bit hard for them to reach the bigger markets.
Once you harvest potatoes, the goods go bad very quickly. So a broker would come to you and offer you a price today. You've agreed on the price, you harvest, you get your crop out of the ground, time for delivery, the broker will come and tell you, you know, the market price has changed. I'll have to give you this price now. And the farmer is left with no alternative because the crop is out of the ground, the crop has been harvested and it's going bad.
Our farmers are so much exploited by those middlemen.
Let's not call it a broker, let's call it a distributor. Okay? I have an opportunity that I wouldn't say exploiting, but it's an opportunity that I'm taking advantage of. Yeah? It's an opportunity, there's a vacuum, so that's where I am.
A key distributor is required to have a lot of capital, have the capacity to move the goods. So immediately that already locks out very many players.
I don't know how to put this. I don't call it a cartel, but it's the bigger guys, the guys with the most money, have the biggest outreach and biggest customers and make the most money.
We'll need a better way of making the whole system equitable so we don't have so many profit centers along the supply chain raising the cost of the end product. So if all the stakeholders would be able to come together, get them to form small cooperatives, several middlemen only relying on picking and passing on and making a profit will be ejected out of the supply chain.
If we can train our farmers to sell their products in cooperatives, like others, we are hearing of Gedogori dairy farmers and the others. We are seeing as if we can kill this kind of the middlemen.
Our development has been driven by the milk production at the farm level. Our quality has been the driving force, because when our products are competing in the market, they are the most preferred because of the freshness.
One simple way to improve efficiency in the supply chain is simply to shorten it. I mean, these are farmers who came together and established a processing plant and now sell their milk directly to the market.
The society is non-profit making, is fully owned by the members. So at the end of the year, when we see any surpluses, it is shared among the members. We are giving them a lot of training on how to do farm management, how to do good milk production. We have a holistic approach in our training so that we can empower our members.
In the last financial year, our turnover was 3.6 billion Kenyan shillings. 50% of that went to the members. We had visionary leaders who were able to bring people together. The leadership was able to show the membership the best way to go was to have their own factory. So the problem initially was financing, where to get the money. They were able to identify an organization which goes by the name Oiko Credit. And they were able to look at the viability of the project rather than the securities which the other institutions were demanding. But 6 months down the line, we had to go back and borrow again because we wanted to expand. Because what we were able to achieve in 6 months, we were thinking we'll be able to do it in 5 years. We believe in transparency, we believe in good governance, and that is why our members have been able to see changes in their lives.
So you have successful farmer groups who have actually banded together and moved all the way down to the value chain and have become very, very, very successful. But most distribution services players do not have a voice. So they cannot articulate their needs clearly to government. There really needs to be some form of association that represents players in the distribution services sector. That's one of the steps that really needs to happen now rather than, actually it needs to happen yesterday.
Retail sector was a key contributor to growth in this country. So if we rope the government in on this particular endeavor, and they support the formation of this kind of cooperatives within the retail sector, the dukas are going to stock more, lower prices. People are going to have more money in their pockets because of the savings. They'll spend it on different things. They'll start diversifying.
You have to have a license for each local authority. If your territory spans 18 local authorities, you have to have 18 licenses. If you're distributing more than one good, imagine how much paperwork one person is carrying. Most of these businesses are unregistered businesses. Yeah? So if you improve them and move them more to the formal economy, what you will get now is, well, a higher revenue base, because now they'll start paying taxes. They need trade facility terms. They need, lines of credit. Getting rid of the licenses, harmonizing paperwork. The government has not missed the significance of this whole economy. It's just that it's taking too long.
I'm not saying we're going to do it in one day or even 1 year, but government is always happy to hear there's money coming in. And there's no stopping an idea whose time has come.
If we address some of these key underlying factors that are hindering growth, the implications are very simple. More product, more trade, better livelihoods.
The brain drain that has come back, they want a change. They're all asking for a change. They all want to be in positions. They're all fighting to be in places where they can make a difference. People want the change. People have seen the world. They want the world here.